going on with Genesis, Grayscale, and their parent company, Digital Currency Group. In an open letter to the board of parent company Digital Currency Group, Winklevoss claims customers of its Earn service were, quote, defrauded by Genesis, DCG, and its CEO, Barry Silbert. Winklevoss goes even further, saying that Silbert is unfit to run the company and that there is no path forward with him at the helm. DCG responded to the letter on Twitter, saying, quote, this is another desperate and unconstructive publicity stunt from Cameron Winklevoss to deflect blame from himself and Gemini, who are solely responsible for operating Gemini Earn and marketing the program to its customers. About a week ago, Winklevoss wrote another open letter in which he accused Silbert of bad faith stalling tactics over frozen funds owed to the crypto company and its customers.
Hello and welcome back to Cryptollennium. Today, we'll continue to discuss the situation that may bring Bitcoin and the crypto market down to its knees, Gemini and Genesis, but more importantly, DCG, otherwise known as Digital Currency Group. Cameron Winklevoss has released yet another open statement to expose some of the findings they've made about DCG, and it's pretty bad. So without further ado, please like and subscribe, and let's dig in. Bitcoin is doing better than it has over the last month or so, but that doesn't mean trouble doesn't lie ahead. Cameron Winklevoss, there is no path forward as long as Barry Silbert remains CEO of DCG. Recursive trades between Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and the Three Arrows Capital hedge fund allegedly inflated assets, according to an open letter from the Gemini co-founder. Cameron Winklevoss, co-founder of the cryptocurrency exchange Gemini, has penned an open letter to the board of Digital Currency Group, or DCG, saying CEO Barry Silbert is unfit to run the company. In a January 10th letter, Winklevoss claimed that Silbert and Genesis Global Capital, a subsidiary of DCG, had defrauded more than 340,000 users who were part of Gemini's Earn program. We talked about this earlier this week as well as last week. That letter followed a January 2nd appeal on Twitter to Silbert directly, in which the Gemini co-founder said Genesis owed Gemini $900 million, accusing the CEO of hiding behind lawyers, investment bankers, and process. Gemini later notified its users that it had terminated its Earn program effective as of January 8th, 2 days ago. And according to Winklevoss today, Genesis lent more than $2.3 billion to Three Arrows Capital, a move which ultimately left the crypto firm with a loss of $1.2 billion once the hedge fund failed in June 2022. He claimed that Silbert, DCG, and Genesis orchestrated a carefully crafted campaign of lies starting in July 2022 in an effort to show DCG had injected the funds into Genesis by including a 10-year promissory note as part of its assets. This is what we compared to a kid losing at poker and saying that their dad was going to pay for it later and to let them continue playing. Winklevoss alleged Genesis CEO Michael Morrow was complicit in his duplicity by ensuing false and misleading statements on social media regarding DCG providing capital to Genesis. In addition, he claimed certain DCG personnel had worked behind the scenes to cover the lack of adequate capitalization at Genesis. And according to Cameron Winklevoss, any accounting irregularities of which DCG and Silbert had been part of might have been overlooked had FTX not collapsed within a matter of months. And get this, he alleged there were recursive trades between Three Arrows Capital and Grayscale Bitcoin Trust and what he called effectively swap transactions for Genesis of Bitcoin for GBTC, a move in which Genesis eventually lost and did not adequately report on its balance sheets. A direct quote, "These misrepresentations were a sleight of hand designed to make it appear as if Genesis was solvent and able to meet its obligations to lenders without DCG actually committing to the financial support necessary to make this true. DCG wanted to have its cake and eat it too." So what he's saying is they basically made a false statement that DCG was going to cover the costs lost by Genesis in its transaction with Three Arrows Capital. The $1.2 billion loss was going to be directly covered by DCG, even though this was not true, it was stated. In a statement to Cointelegraph, a DCG spokesperson called the letter a desperate and unconstructive publicity stunt, claiming that Winklevoss and Gemini were solely responsible for operating Gemini Earn and marketing the program to its customers. The firm suggested it could pursue legal action if necessary. And Silbert, Barry himself, addressed some of Winklevoss's claims in a January 10th letter to shareholders, in which he said Genesis had a trading and lending relationship with both Three Arrows Capital and Alameda Research. He added that DCG did not receive any cash, cryptocurrency, or any other form of payment for a $1.1 billion promissory note for Genesis's liabilities. DCG currently owes Genesis Capital $447.5 million in USD, and second, 4,550 Bitcoin, about $78 million, which matures in May 2023, said Silbert. DCG borrowed $500 million in USD between January and May 2022 at interest rates of 10 to 12%. Unlike in his January 2nd letter, Winklevoss directly called on the DCG board to remove Silbert in an effort to provide a resolution for EARN users. In response to that letter, Silbert claimed that DCG did not borrow $1.675 billion from Genesis and never missed an interest payment to Genesis and is current on all loans outstanding. Direct quote, "There is no path forward as long as Barry Silbert remains CEO of DCG, said Winklevoss. He has proven himself unfit to run DCG and is unwilling and unable to find a resolution with creditors that is both fair and reasonable. As a result, Gemini, acting on behalf of 340,000 EARN users, requests that the board remove Barry Silbert as the CEO." Take a look here. Gemini has officially terminated the Genesis loans, officially ends EARN program. It should be noted that he also said DCG never had a relationship with Alameda Research, though Genesis did have a trading and lending relationship with them. DCG made a small equity investment of $250,000 in FTX's Series B in July 2021. DCG held a trading account with FTX with less than 1% of all its trading volume transacted on the platform. What we're watching ultimately here is Grayscale. If all the dominoes under DCG start to topple, Grayscale could be one of them. This could send Bitcoin into the dark ages or prehistoric. With that said, the open letter is on Cameron Winklevoss's Twitter if anybody wants to take a look at the details of what he says. And if you made it this far, please like and subscribe. We'll keep you updated on this situation as it continues to unfold, and we'll see you tomorrow.